All right. Thank you, everyone. We are live for the CSL lottery presentation for 2033. We do have a special guest. He's very special. I know everyone's calling it uh, the annual appearance of TJ, which is true, although this does happen twice a year, so you got to give him more credit than that. Um, However, he is our special guest yet again, and like I said, he is very special. So, welcome, TJ. Thank you again for joining me here on this lottery presentation.
Well, you hit the nail on the head. I am very special, and I've come to realize that early on in my years, so I'm ahead of the curve. But yeah, give me some credit. I've done this twice a year now, so it's my seventh annual appearance for
Yeah,
the year. But
yeah. I don't like to stick up
without
for you,
further
but
ado,
yeah, I actually hate sticking up for you, but I will say that you do this twice a year. So, I want to make sure everyone's
yeah, give me
aware
some credit at least.
of your contributions to the league. All right.
It's
So,
very, very difficult, but I've taken.
yeah, nobody cares. Nobody cares about anything else that you're saying over there right now. They just want to see the results at this
You
point.
called it back, so somebody cares. Just go.
That's true. I just don't want to talk by myself for 45 minutes. Nobody wants to hear that. All right. Um, so we've been doing this for several years now with this format. The game manages the lottery per the current NBA standards, so we don't need to do any manual portion of it anymore. It's all managed through the game. So we've already sent out the current lottery um, essentially what the lottery odds are for each team based on their standings. If you're not familiar with how the lottery works, which we don't really have any new members of the league, so everyone should be very familiar. So I'm not going to go into it. But essentially, the worst three teams have the same odds to get the first pick, and then the odds are filtered out through the remaining teams in the lottery. So as we go through this, you'll see some teams potentially jump, but all the odds are listed on the table and in the graphic in front of you. These are all posted on the forum as well under the lottery portion of the forum. So if you want to refer to them at any point, they are there too. But without further ado, we could jump in because I know there are a number of people. It's a little late this year, unfortunately, so sorry about that. But there are a number of people who are interested, myself included. I've never been in the lottery, especially at this point. I'm usually in the playoffs, but usually losing early, so not really anything to be proud of.
Welcome to the club.
Um, yeah, but so I'm kind of excited that I mean, for bad reasons, I'm excited to be in the lottery here, and um, but I don't know that I have the luck of you, TJ, to get this Thunder team up to a top spot, but we shall see. But we'll jump into
There's
it.
no luck here.
Um,
All skill.
yeah, you're on here. You have a couple picks on the ropes here, so. Okay, so everyone knows how we're going to do this. I'm going to go through. The game's going to run it. Um, just going to see who's landing, but essentially, like I said, we'll follow the odds. So pick 14, drum roll, is Detroit. So no jump there. Um, we can kind of look at the roster for Detroit just to see what they might need, but I will say that Lucas had this team rolling. This was a team that started off like pretty awful, like they have been the last couple years, and then I don't know what he changed. He made a couple moves throughout the year, but I feel like this is a strategy change that he had. But he had this team rolling where they were in the play-in and they were a pretty dangerous team, if you ask me. They were one of those teams that if they got hot at any point, they could absolutely be a team that you really don't want to face. And I mean, Doug said it here, team to watch for next year. I completely agree. Like this is a team that was, if not the hottest, one of the hottest teams toward the back half of the season. So Lucas definitely has found out that secret sauce that's needed that a lot of other GMs have found to essentially see success. But what do you think of this roster that he's built up? I know you've been paying close attention, so we're all waiting with bated breath to hear your.
Well, it's in the shadows, man. On the shadows. But I do call out OKC vet James Wiseman there. I like him. Um, yeah, I mean, it's. I feel like just with the change of the sim strategy, it's like it's about finding, like I said, special sauce and what works for you. But to there's nothing that really stands out on this team for me. So to get the success that he was able to get, pretty admirable here.
Yeah, maybe that. I mean, James Wiseman, he was a pick of yours that I shipped out immediately just to wipe that stain of yours off this team,
Yeah.
and it's
hmm
clearly worked very well for the Thunder as they're the third worst team in the league.
Yeah. It
Um,
worked. It worked very well for you too, because you made the playoffs this year, huh?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It didn't work out at all
No?
for us, but I just didn't like James Wiseman. He had an attitude I didn't like about him. But yeah, I mean, the only thing I would say about this team is I don't know that they have a true like alpha. I guess Xavier Tillman is that he really stepped up. He was a good addition for them. Um, that trade that they made. So, and they're bringing back most of the team. They're obviously going to look to re-sign Tillman. Moody, it'll be interesting. He's very polarizing. Some people really like Moses Moody, and some people don't. I do not like him that much. I thought he's been traded, I think, several times the last like year and a half, and some people have given up a lot. Like New Orleans gave up a ton to get him, and I think he is like average at best, but he's was a really good piece for Detroit this year. So clearly, if you know how to use him, then he could be a big piece. But I'm interested to see what he goes for. But they're essentially bringing back the entire team. So I don't know. What do you think their What do you think? Where do you think their holes are? Point guard
Well, again,
potentially.
I think you said bringing back their whole team and finding that recipe late season is going to help them early season next year. So hopefully they can continue that. But I mean, there are some. Yeah, and it seems like the point guard probably needs some at least some depth there. I don't know. It's always hard to find that franchise point guard. So good luck with that. But
Yeah, and at
and I
pick
mean,
14, they're not going
just
to have.
plug and play.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's not going to be much there. Sometimes you get lucky with those late picks, but cross fingers, take BPA, and roll on from there. But you know, hopefully some of this cap space can open up and they can get a little bit more done in the free agency.
yeah, yeah. And looking at that 14 range, they're not going to get like Scottie Pippen Jr., but they might get. I mean, maybe Bronny falls to them. We'll see how he does, or Jameer Nelson Jr. Um,
Ooh, St. Joe.
yeah, we'll see what happens there. But definitely headed in the right direction, which I think is good to see for Detroit. It's been a rough go for them for several years.
Yeah, ever
Um,
since you left the team in shambles.
I mean, it's not like I was helping them that much. So, but they are. Lucas has righted the ship, it seems. So glad to see that. The fans of Detroit desperately need it. So, um, yeah, interested to see what direction Lucas goes. I mean, who knows? They could even trade the pick and try to get someone who's more ready now too to help them kind of take that next step. So, all right, moving on. Pick 13 right now. The Jazz are slotted for this. I know Phil's always asleep when we do the lottery. He did ask me to try to bump up his team, but that would just screw me over. So unless he paid a lot, it's not happening. But let's see. Pick 13, and it will remain with Utah. So Utah is
Guess they
another
didn't pay you
team.
enough, huh?
No, definitely did. No one ever does. It's never been a. They've never. No one's ever hit the target deposit amount. Um,
It's always about being on target.
that's it. All right. So looking at Utah and this team. Sorry, let's look at the contract situation. So another team that looks like they're bringing back pretty much anyone that matters. All of their free agents are not key difference makers. I mean, Garuba is a solid bench player, not a starter. JT Thor, again, solid bench player, not someone you won't be able to fill in with some other, solid mid free agent pickup. But looking at this team, um, they're another team that I feel like, I mean, Vinny Oku like was a revelation this year for them. He was solid for Minnesota, but kind of being that primary, he really stepped up. So looks like they're set at center, and even Mikard is very solid. So their front court's pretty good. Um, Theo Maladon, he's another former OKC guy. But what are you
So is
thinking here?
Witherspoon.
Yeah, Weatherspoon too. Yep. Yeah, got rid of him. Got rid of him too. But what are you thinking
Well,
about
hey, I
this
mean, he's picking
this
up pieces
roster?
for me, so that only leads to success in the long term. But I agree with you. Their front court's very loaded. So I mean, it's a curse and a blessing because I feel like you're usually reaching for that backcourt revelation with these later picks, but they're usually not there. Um, yeah, I mean, you look at their cap status and 13 in the hole, but there's a lot of manageable contracts here though too. I mean, most of the
Yeah.
money's in that front court with that mid guard, but other than that, I mean, there's some coming off the books. I think there's a chance here. Just got to find, like I said, some depth in that backcourt there. And I think they can make that jump.
Yeah, I mean Maladon I don't think is a starting point guard. I mean he performed admirably, but
Yeah,
if you're gonna win, I don't know
but
that he's
again,
your
it's like when are you going to find that guy? You really have to ante up or get lucky in the draft, which is much the hardest thing to do. So in that
yeah.
regard, I think they're in good shape. Just about finding that starting point guard.
Yeah, and they have some solid pieces like Weatherspoon's very solid. Coffee's like a defensive beast. And they got Kason Wallace, I was really high on coming out of the draft last year. I know he didn't get. I don't think he was one of the rookies that got a boost, which everyone always wants. But and I don't know how he would develop throughout the year personally, but he was someone that I was really high on coming out of the draft. Yeah, and he's a solid player all around. So they have some good talent. I don't know that they have a ton of high end talent. Um, so maybe they're just going to kind
But I
of
mean, they're
go.
young though too. I mean, there's not a lot of
Yeah,
veteran
they're a young
presence
team.
here. So I mean, you can find out what works for you and then kind of go from there. It's a nice part about
Yeah,
this blend here.
yeah. I mean, if I'm them, I'm probably going best player available. To be honest, I don't know that I'm even
Yeah.
really
Yep. Yep.
going for need.
Offload
Um,
if you find some redundancy.
yeah. So we'll see. Not the result Phil wanted, but um, at 13, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I guess there's some. Got Doug, aka Schefter, here dropping some. The Jazz are actively working the phones for an impact player, so maybe they are trying to make some big moves here. I mean, they have some contracts that can definitely be moved. Weatherspoon has a $14 million expiring, that almost $15 million expiring for next year. So that's usually pretty attractive for people. And I know he's been on the block, on and off the block throughout the years. So we shall see. Definitely some options for Utah. Not a bad place to be in. So, all right. Next, moving on, pick 12. So slated for the Cavaliers, and it will stay with the Cavaliers. So Cleveland's an interesting
Little
team.
chalk.
Yeah, chalk so far, but with those odds, it's not super surprising. But yeah, so Cleveland was a team that started off real hot. Um, I'm actually surprised they're this this way in the lottery, but they're another team that's really struggled recently. Um, and I'm not sure I get it because they have some really solid pieces. It seems like this is a strategy thing. Um, However, they just can't seem to get over the hump. And I mean, defensively, they're just atrocious. Giving up 107 points per game is it's crazy. So I would say they they're fine with offense, but defensively, they are a very poor team. Um, Looking at their cap situation for next year, a couple team options, handful of player options, but essentially bringing back the core of Langford. Um, Korkmaz will come off, but I know Josh has been trying to get rid of Korkmaz. Kuzma and Porter. So those are the big three. They had a great drafting EJ Onu last year, who got I think a boost and is like the best rebounder in the league already. Yeah, like crazy rebounding rating. So they have some really solid pieces. There's no reason they should be this bad, in my opinion. So, I mean, if I'm them, I guess I'm taking best player available. But um, yeah, I don't know. What are you thinking about this team? They're a
Yeah, I
division
mean, this
rival.
team's a this. Well, I mean, it's not really a rival when your team is poor as mine. But anyway, this team is definitely like a win now type of team. I think, like you said, they're either some strategies away from really kind of taking that step, or um, but I think it's definitely BPA. They have scoring. They have a starting point guard. I mean, you know, I think if they just prioritize defense from here, see if you can find a good blend of maybe have like an ISO game and everyone else just plays defense around them. But like you said, was it
Yeah.
107 a game?
Yeah.
Yikes!
107.
Yeah, it's a little
Crazy.
little
Awful.
little steep.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you look at the ages on their team too. I mean, you got a couple early 30s, late 29. I guess 29 for Porter, was it? Yeah,
Porter is going to be
I
30
think.
next year. Yep. Kuzma will be 32. So, but
Yeah,
Langford, their other
this
star,
team
is
is
only going
one
to be
now.
25. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you get Porter and Kuzma gone, then you got a totally different team here. So this is either win
Yeah.
now or maybe offload some pieces and see if you can't, improve for the future. But
Yeah.
having that starting point guard is super valuable here. So at least they're in a good shape.
Yeah. I mean, this is a team that should be, like I said, they should be like 4 or 5 seed at worst, in my opinion. So,
Sure.
um,
Yeah.
definitely have some good players on this team. They could any team could always use depth, but yeah, I think this is another. I mean, at this stage, we say the same thing every year. Like at this point in the lottery, it's be whoever falls to you. You're essentially just happy to take, and
Yeah,
hope you're
you
not
just take who's available,
whiffing
but it's
completely.
easier to grab defense than it is offense. So
Yeah, yeah, we'll see. Yeah, that's a good point Doug makes. Like, do they even keep it or do they try to trade it for a win now piece? And I don't think they go wrong either way. They have a good blend of like win now pieces, but then they do have like Langford's young, Onu's super young. So
I mean,
yeah,
it's a
it'll
good
be
position to
interesting.
be in, right? So I mean, don't you're not forced to do one or the other. You could definitely go two ways here. So if you get the
Yeah,
deal, then do it. If you don't, then you know, path.
yeah, we'll see. Some choices, which is always good. So all right, moving on. Pick 11 here. So slated for the Pelicans, and it stays with the Pelicans. So still moving, still moving. Um, so yeah, Tim's team, the Pelicans. We need to take a look at this team, um, because they're another team that the up and down. It was an up and down season for the Pelicans, and you kind of see it based on Tim's reaction to how they were performing throughout the year. But another team that is, they made a big free agent signing last year in Anthony Simons, so that was a big get, for them, and it kind of seemed like they were on the up and up, which they are. They're better than they were last year for sure. So they're moving in the right direction. Um, I know they traded next year's first for Moses Moody, and then promptly traded Moses Moody, after it was clear that he wasn't going to work out. So I think that was a pretty big blunder. Like Tim was doing everything really good, and then that trade just, in my opinion, like stalled a lot of the progress, and then it kind of went downhill from there. So still a very solid team. The last of the play-in teams, so did well enough to get into the play-in and have a chance, but just still missing, those pieces to really take it to the next level. And I mean, this is a team that look at all these team options. He's going to have pretty much a clean slate. He'll have his core three of Simons, Maxi, and Webanyama, but outside of that, and this is his first round pick last year, OMP. So solid young pieces. But outside of that, this is like an open slate for him to do what he wants through free agency and kind of make this team how he wants. So it'll be interesting. I can't see Tim making a huge splash in free agency. I think he's going to make some calculated decisions on who to move forward with. But yeah, what do you see here?
Yeah, this is, I'm more of a keep myself flexible, and I love the contract situations here. You have a couple big pieces that you can build around. Yet, you give yourself some opportunity if you really want to go for it. I still think it's a little early for this franchise here. Um,
Yeah,
they got youth. What's Simon's now? What, 26 was it?
Simons is young still. Yeah, so 27. So he's just entering his prime. He'll be 27
Yeah,
next
so
year.
just about entering his prime. He's got Wemby 20, Maxi 22. Yeah, and then OMP is 21. Yeah, there's a lot of upside here. So same thing. I mean, if I'm him, I'm still because you have a nice blend of, you have some stars in the front and the backcourt here. So you know, old record here. Just I'd take BPA and kind of see what's best available. Um, I don't think there's a lot to deal away for to buy the trade field, but I mean, having that cap space situation's nice.
Yeah, I mean, I agree there, and I know Tim will. He's very particular about the type of player that he brings on those teams, so it'll be interesting what the interviews kind of show him. He's, it's not just skill for him; it's also fit and um, kind of what other traits they have.
I mean, he always seems to find that late round like success. So I don't he'll find something. And again, like having an open slate like this, and you can kind of plug and play anywhere on this rotation that he's gonna have his pick of the litter at his spot. You know,
Yeah, I know Tim in the past has fallen in love with certain players, and it's worked sometimes and hasn't worked others. So it'll be interesting if he has that one or two players who he's like, if they're here, even if I feel like it's a reach,
this
I'm
is
gonna take them
this
no
is
matter
what
what.
11, 10, 11. I mean, there's no risk all
This is
reward in this pick.
this is
So
11 right here. Yeah,
yeah,
unless someone good
so
falls and you pass on them, that's really the only risk. Like if other teams are reaching for need, um, that's the only risk I see here.
yeah,
But
no pressure
all
this
right,
part of the draft, and he's in a good
yep,
spot.
okay. Moving on then. So pick 10, we're entering the top 10 here. It's scheduled for Toronto. It's actually owned by Detroit, and it will stay with Detroit. So no movement yet. The bottom 5 picks of the lottery have all been the same. So Detroit has 2 picks in the lottery, no movement on their end. So sorry, Lucas, but they are going to add more talent. I know we've already kind of talked through the roster here, so not going to spend too much time on them again. Um, but just having 2 lottery picks where he can really just because he has 2 picks, he can kind of just sit and see who falls to him, see how the board falls, as they say. But yeah, this
I
has
mean,
been chalk, just like
maybe the idea here is see if you can't package and move up a little bit. See if you can't get somebody
yeah,
that's a little bit more meaningful to your roster. At this point in his build and his cap space, maybe it's quality over quantity here, unless you're the idea of taking more shots at getting one good player versus put up to see if you can't get that
yeah,
star.
yeah. I think he's in a good spot. He has his team in a good spot. They're not a championship caliber team yet, but he has them heading in the right direction finally. And these 2 picks, whether he stays and takes whoever falls to him, whether he trades one of them for someone who's ready now, whether he trades both of them, or whether he tries to trade up, I think he has a lot of options that benefit a team that's in his position. So I expect him to be, if he keeps this up, he won't have to worry about the play-in next year. Um, I think he'll be steady in that playoff range where he's maybe at that 5-6 range. So okay, all right. So here we go. Pick 9, Golden State, and it stays with them. So no commish privilege here for Ryan. Stays where it is. So I don't have to hear about that. But my pick hasn't come up yet. So um, Golden State. So this is a team that is also not really ever in the lottery. I feel like Ryan always has this team performing at a high level. Um, they've had PJ kind of running the show for several years now, and he has taken them to the next level. But he did get hurt this year, unfortunately. So losing him, they still hung in. Like this team was still right there till the end. So I got to give them credit there. But without PJ, they are kind of a shell of themselves. So they have some solid players. Um, no one that really stands out in my opinion. So I mean, they need to add like talent at this point, in my opinion, especially if they're sticking with PJ and they're going to try to go for it again next year and see what they can do. They have a ton of really good depth pieces and a ton like Ashton Hagens is very solid. Um, Chris Wilkes, another young guy who has potential, but like I don't know. I think there's a lot that this roster. Like if you get another blue chip player with to go along with PJ, I think this could be a really difficult team to game plan against. What do you think over
Yeah,
there,
I think
Coach?
again, yeah, you look at your roster and the ages here. I mean, we're looking, this team is in its prime, not early 30 years. So Jay, what is he says he's out like another 200 some days.
122. He'll be back for
22.
122. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, do you think this is? Do we continue on this path here, or do we kind of ship for the future? I mean, that's
I mean,
um,
he's going to be 32
it's
next
you
year.
look at again, yeah. So I mean, like you're right on the cusp of obviously go for it with this roster here. You can change a course. I mean, looks like the cap space is pretty subpar. So I mean,
Yeah, they're
it's up
not
to
going to have
him. I
much.
mean, yeah. So I mean, I think with the way this team's built, it's a win now team. So like you said, it's BPA fill a spot. I don't know if there's many holes per se. But I don't know if there's any one spot that has that much need.
I mean, center it looks like is probably the biggest hole here. Definitely some front
But
court
again,
help
do
they
you
could
really
use.
then do you reach for? I mean, I guess he's in a spot where he could probably reach for a center if he thinks there's somebody out there for him. But
I mean, I agree.
I
I mean, all
think
these
that
teams it's all BPA or whatever they feel is BPA,
well,
and
I
I do
mean,
agree. I don't
again,
know.
if the plan for this team is to compete now, this might actually not be a BPA situation. You just try to see if you can't hit on what you think is the best, you know, front court guy center here, and then maybe
Yeah,
they fit and they give your team a little bit of a boost for that, that run. So, but
yeah, we'll see. I do think with
it's all
PJ,
decisions, right?
yeah, and with PJ hurt. So if PJ wasn't hurt,
That's what I'm
I
saying.
think they look
Yeah.
to trade him. You can there's a trade value
Yep.
there. Like someone will trade for him. With him hurt,
Yep.
nobody's going to trade for him. So I think they have to kind of go for it. They have to at least try one more year with the
Yes.
current core
Yep.
and say,
Agreed.
what do we
Agreed.
have here? And then after next year, we'll kind of maybe blow it up if it doesn't
And
work
that's why
out.
I
But
think like maybe here they just go for it. It's not necessarily BPA, but who's the most ready now guy that can
yeah,
kind of step up and contribute right away.
yeah, yeah. Especially with them their pick staying put. Like it's not like they're
Yep.
getting the
There's
top
not going to
three
be any
pick here.
star there, not a future guy.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
Okay. All right. You're up next here. Let's see. I feel like you usually get a
Now you
lot of
know what's going
lottery
to happen
magic,
here.
so let's
No,
see.
I don't.
Oh, you did your pick. So you had two picks in a row here.
Wait.
Yeah,
I was going to say, all right.
so it's your pick and the Hornets traded you there first. Um,
Yeah.
so you
So I
own
got
that pick as
this.
well. So you have back-to-back picks. So this pick here, pick 8, is jumped
All
into the
right.
top 3. So
Yeah,
unreal.
I definitely
Continues.
rigged this. Don't worry. Oh,
This is why you come on every
I got
year
to do
because you
something
get
right around here.
somehow
Yeah.
always works out for you. All right, so pick 7 has moved back to pick 8. Um, so you hurt yourself slightly there, but not really because you're going to get a bump. But let's
I
look at
hurt
this
myself all
amazing
the time
roster
in
you've
many small ways.
yeah. Let's look at this amazing roster you've put
Amazing
together.
roster or good situation? Which way are you going to look at it here?
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to let you talk through this team. Doug
Well,
says we need a special
it's all
investigation.
in
I mean, I
need
agree.
a special investigation. Yeah. Well, you know what? It's just a talent I have, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I have some youth. I mean, Suggs is obviously my guy. He's
Yeah,
built
I love
around him.
Suggs. Yeah,
But yeah, it's you look at the contracts, right? I mean, I got plenty of room to move, and I'm still in that situation where I can just kind of grab somebody
man,
whenever
look
I
at this
want. But
team. You're gonna have no one on this team.
we're that's I know. You say that like it's a problem, right? I mean, there's plenty of room to move. There's plenty of things I can do here, and that's. I mean, this team's we're not going to compete for another 2 years or so, but I mean, hell, maybe if I keep getting this luck in the lottery, if they can
So you're saying
upgrade
2 years? You're
our.
not, two
I
years
think
is
it's
the
two.
window.
Yeah, I mean,
You're not two
what do
years
you think?
away
I mean,
from
I
being
don't.
2 years
There's
away
two. Well, yeah, I'm 2 years away from being just
from being.
process, just like a six. We're 2 years away from being 3 years away. But no, I mean, no. Hopefully, I can get lucky with this second pick. If it goes high enough, then we can really make. But I got my point guard, which I think is the most important thing here. So for me, it's just BPA. I mean, find a spot, see who's best available, and build this franchise up for someone else to inherit and win the whole thing.
Yeah, yeah. And Doug points out this is probably the best, definitely the best restricted free
I,
agency that we've seen, and
it's
there's
it's
some
it's
really good
calculated,
unrestricted free
calculated.
agencies. Yeah, this is
Like I said, I just keep the cap space open. That's the recipe for success
yeah,
here, or lack thereof, whichever way you
you're all
look at it.
about that flexibility.
That's right.
You
Yeah,
should have traded
gotta be
Towns
able to
though.
pivot on the dime.
He was
Yeah,
having a
well, you know what?
crazy
I didn't.
year,
I know.
crazy year
Well,
this
it
year.
is what it is.
I'm surprised no one was
Yeah,
giving
he
you
won.
a lot
Yeah.
for him.
Well, I did get some early on, and you know me, I took, busy as
Took your
always.
time. Didn't
Um,
answer
got
PMs
some good
for
offers,
a
but
month.
yeah, well, well, this is me answering PMs right now, so Doug can live PM me right on the screen here, and we can go from there. So,
Yeah, I mean this is a very similar um, kind of process to what you always build, where you have a ton of flexibility, a lot of cap coming off the books. Probably this free agency you'll do the same thing, sign some 1 year deals that give you flexibility the following year too, depending on how your free agency goes. But yeah, Suggs is a
yeah, I
beast.
mean, really, if I can get that guy and trade him out, then boom, that's just
Yeah,
another piece and go from there.
yeah. I mean, Denny's really solid. Mathurin's, your rookie first rounder last year, high pick.
Yeah,
So
he
you
was
have
just
some
more of like
key
a,
pieces.
be yeah,
Yeah,
that's exactly what I'm looking for here. Just some another piece to build around and see where it goes from there. But I actually really do like where this team's at right now. This roster, I'm not in cap
yeah,
hell, and I have ability to do a lot here.
yep, yeah. Definitely a solid roster, ton of flexibility. But I agree, you're not quite ready to make noise though. There were some points throughout the year
Two
where you
years
had
from
went on
being 3 years.
streaks. Yeah,
Well, I mean, you know how big we're a streaky team. Shoot ourselves in the foot and
there was
get
some. Yeah,
mired in mid-table.
your team was on a roll at some point throughout the
Yeah,
year.
you get that question of, oh, do I go for it? No, I don't go for it. Not with this team.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think you're quite ready, but you're not too far away.
2 years from 2 years from 3 years, we're there, right there.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna be talking about you again soon. Hopefully, not above
Yeah, I
that
get that a
Thunder's
lot.
pick, but we shall see.
Hmm.
All right. Pick 7. So next up, so you're this pick has already jumped into the top 3 somewhere. So then we have the Lakers up next, and the Lakers have also jumped. This absolutely sucks for my pick. I'm just going to tell you right now.
Well,
We are most likely
I'm
jumping
gonna go ahead
down.
and say Doug jinxed us with the March Madness quote there. Now we're gonna get some madness here.
Yeah, this is terrible news for my pick. So glad it's happening though. I deserve it. Um, so the Wizards. So Washington. So Gary moves from 5 for his odds to 7. Congrats, Gary. But you know what? You've had enough lottery luck that you don't need any more either. Um, yeah, this is a team that I feel like Gary changes his mind on how he wants to build this team every other week. Um, he made moves to have like a really strong team, and last year that was like he was going for it. It didn't work out. This year he retooled a bit, um, but this is a roster that's all over the place, in my opinion. So some solid players for sure. I mean, Kai Bowman, everyone knows he's offense first, second, third, and fourth. No defense whatsoever, but that's okay if you have defensive players around him. Outside of him, though, I mean, he has Brutus, Jared Allen, who I like a lot. Terry Eason's a solid big. He has Doom, who, started out of the league with a bang and has, I feel like his value slowly started to degrade. But I mean, he has some solid players. I just don't know how they all fit, and I feel like they don't all fit that well together. But what do you think here with pick 7?
Yeah. There's like you said, the whole Bowman piece here is the entire offense. Um, Always a question of whether or not that's a sustainable way of running your team. Um, but yeah, I mean it's a bold move. You get a guy like that that goes down, then you're kind of shot. So, but yeah, if you feel comfortable enough to roll with the one scorer and just build a defensive beast behind him, then that's definitely one way. If that's the way he plans on going, and he's looking for another defensive pick here, I don't think that's going to be too difficult to do. Um, and the team is still relatively young. I mean, I think that you can still have like 2 or 3 years of running this roster here, and cap space is
Yeah,
it's okay. Nothing that's really holding them back from doing anything. A lot of
yeah. I mean,
small
they're gonna have
deals.
no cap space. They essentially they'll be locked into this roster unless they make some changes. But with Brutus, Allen, Doom, and Bowman, their cap space is locked up. So not until the following year will
Yeah,
they start to see some cap space come off the books with Bowman and Jared Allen's team option if they want to decline that. But not free agent players this year. But yeah, I think it's I mean they can kind of use help anywhere. I mean they
but
might
hey, I
go
mean they got DiVincenzo and Pascal there, so get a little
yeah.
bit of Villanova representation.
There you go. Yep.
So
I
it's
knew
always
you'd
plus. Plus.
surprised it took this long for you to say something around it.
Well, I got
But
to sign off with that, right? The hard hitting
yeah,
facts first, and then
that's true.
the salt on top.
You
That's just
you
how
and your
it works.
hard
Good
hitting
commentary.
facts.
Good,
Yep.
good, good commentary.
Yep. So sorry, Gary. No lot of luck this year. You moved from 5 to 7. So all right, so pick 6. Let's see if there are any other jumps to mess up the Thunder pick. But technically it should be Orlando. And it is, oh boy, the Suns get pushed back. Oh, so that's actually good. No, actually, I
Oof.
don't know what that means for me. So the Magic have jumped as well. So the Magic, the Lakers, and Pacers have all jumped into the top 3, which means Clippers, Suns, and Detroit are all 4, 5, and 6. So the best I could hope for now is 4. So that's kudos
Hey, four
to
is a
the
great
worst
number.
3 teams
My favorite
getting
number.
completely shafted here. Um, Gary's, yep, is whenever he doesn't win, this is his standard comment. It's a racist lottery, and I don't even know if I
Hey,
can
keep
deny
going the
it at
well,
this
man.
point.
If it
Yeah,
ain't broke, don't fix it.
yeah. And I'm also excited that the Kings don't have a top 5 pick this year, but I would have liked to be a top pick, but it just wasn't in the cards this year. So yeah, so just for awareness, Magic, Lakers, Pacers, congrats because you're all in the top 3. Clips. Oh, this is Lucas again. He had this pick, yeah. So I can't feel too bad about him. Clips, Detroit, and OKC. Sorry, like it's just not in the books this year. Um, yeah, yeah, that's true. It's a shout out to the DDS developer. So, all right. So Detroit, we've talked about them so many times. I'm not going to talk about them again. Sorry, Lucas, but you've had
Moving
enough
right along.
attention for one lottery. So pick 5. So
Wow.
really going to hope it's the Clippers here. It is the Clippers. Okay, so at least we only dropped one spot. I could feel better about that.
Congrats, man.
Yeah,
Congrats.
I'll take that. You know
Four,
what?
great number.
Small
4 is a great number.
small victories. Um,
That's the Philadelphia way.
all right, so the Clips. All right, so got Marcus's team here. He's another team that he is this was a not necessarily Tank City team, but it was a this was going to be a rough year no matter what. So,
It's a team after my own heart here. I love it.
yeah, and I'm sure Gary's definitely watching this from Wolverine. I'm sure this is how he spends his Monday mornings. Um, but who knows? He's clearly not spending it making the game any better. So this could be how he spends his time. Um, yeah. So Jalen Williams, this was his rookie first. I think this was the He was the top pick. I think they had the top pick last year. So again, not feeling too bad about them dropping here. Um, and definitely one of those players that is like all around, has some crazy all around potential, great shooting potential. Um, but I don't think he's one of those players that's going to be your alpha. He doesn't want to score a ton based on his rating, so he's not going to take a ton of shots. But he's like one of those players that's an amazing like number two in my opinion. Um, outside of that, I also love that they got Banchero last year. I think that was a great pick. So last year's draft for them was like not home run draft picks all around. Um, I think he knocked it out of the park. So they did great last year. Even Keon Johnson, I really liked. Um, before that, they had Jeremy Sochan, who was a scoring phenom. All he wants to do is score. So they kind of have their alpha, but he's very inefficient. So interested to kind of see what they do with him, but they didn't play him a ton last year because they have your boy Kevin Knox taking all the shots. So I don't know what's going on
He's
with
my
this
boy.
team. Um, they just
I
need
don't
to add
know.
talent.
I don't know what it. Yeah, I mean that's. I think there's plenty of flexibility here. I don't know if there's any direction that needs to be taken at this point other than just kind of amass talent, right? I mean,
Yeah,
plenty of good draft picks. So I mean, I think this is franchise. It just depends on how they do in free agency and how they draft going forward. But
yeah. I mean, they have their
always leave yourself
center.
some. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if I'm them, I
Yeah. I
feel
mean,
good about
there's a lot.
center.
There's a lot here. Oh yeah. Again, like you said, don't get richer here, which is kind of everyone else because they have plenty of talent on this team.
They do. They really need a point guard. I wonder if it'll be interesting to
Well,
see. Like I said,
hardest
Scottie
hardest
Pippen.
thing to find.
It is, and Pippen Jr. is really, I think, considered the top potential point guard in the draft. I'd have
Does
to
he
see
fall to
what the
five
teams who
though?
jumped. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who the teams who jumped if they what their needs are. I haven't looked at their rosters, but I don't know if he's going to last till five. So we shall see. But again, not a terrible place to be in if you're the
I mean,
Clippers, but not
I was gonna
ideal
say
either.
not a bad spot at all. Sucks
But
they
they
dropped,
dropped
but
the maximum they could
they're gonna
drop.
do
So
just fine.
yep. All right. Well, oh wait, do I guess I don't understand how this I thought it was top 3 that everyone jumped into. All right, so I guess all right, so
Oh, look at
4 is the
you.
Magic.
So what you're saying is you did rig this.
I thought whoever jumps goes into the top 3. Clearly, I
Hmm.
don't even understand the
Yeah,
lottery
I hear
rules.
you. Yeah,
So, yeah,
somebody's breathing a sigh of relief over there.
I am. I thought I was 4. All right, I'm happy with wherever I land now. Um,
Oh, here we go. He's gonna get number one now.
yeah, I mean that would be great. I'm feeling pretty good now. Maybe I need your luck too. Um, all right, so then Orlando, another team that has been yeah, Doug clarified, so it's jumping to the top 4, not top 3. Okay, I was mistaken. Um, Orlando,
That's impossible.
what an interesting. This is a recurring dream, nightmare, I guess, whatever you want to think of it for this team, but they have lived in this lottery for ever since they got rid of Paul George. Essentially, it's been the Paul George curse on this franchise. So who knows what's going to happen here? Um, I have no idea what's happening here, but yeah, there's already a special investigation team being put together when Indy and OKC are 1 and 2.
No,
Again,
it's
I
just my
can't.
luck, man. Any team I touch has turned to gold. It's
That's
just
right.
how it is.
Yeah, maybe OKC still
Maybe
has
not
some of
my
that luck
responsibility.
from you on it. Um, but going to Orlando, this is so Mark Williams has been on the trade block all year. The poor guy, former #1 overall pick, has been just he's been cursed because he shouldn't have been the #1 overall pick. Everyone knows that Charlotte completely won that draft when Jovic fell to them. However, Mark Williams is on this team. He's been on the trade block, the poor guy, but he is got some run here starting at towards the end of the year. But this is a team that again I never know what direction they're going in. They have
Yeah,
Their
I say
books
that
aren't
kind of
even that
reflects it all
clean
right
because
there
they
too.
have. See, it's not
Nope.
even a ton of I mean, it is some flexibility, but they have between Laurie and Anthony Edwards and Mark taking chewing up a bunch of that cap. They really don't have a ton of cap space, so they have very few
I mean, if they
people on the roster.
unload, yeah, if they can unload some of them, but then again, that would just point their direction to a rebuild. So
They're in
I
a
don't know if
constant
there's enough
rebuild.
here to
Yeah,
compete. Yeah, so I mean, for me, it's like fire sale. Try to see what you can get, and then just kind of cut your losses here. But
yeah,
you always got to find a dance partner in order to unload some of these contracts here. So
yeah. We'll see. Willie is He's another one. He has his players in mind that he likes. If you're not on that list, he doesn't want anything to do with you, even if it's a good fit. Willie has to be like he has those. He has certain players that fit his roster in his mind. So if you have one of those players on your team, he's going to come at them hard. Um, but he has a very clear vision in his mind of like, this is what I want. This is the kind of player I want. This is so. Um, I'm interested to see who he's interested in the draft because he's like Tim, like he has those couple guys who he's like, I really want, kind of fall in love with those guys. Um, but same thing around the league. He has his players that he's big fans of. So yeah, there's another team
well,
that
good luck
I
to him,
mean,
but needs work. It does need work.
he did. I will
So yeah,
say with Giddy, I don't know where he was playing him. Did he get hurt at some point? I can't keep track of where where his players are. Um, but Josh
hmm,
Giddey did see kind of a career resurrection here in Orlando, where he's starting to become that solid point guard. So I don't know that he's going to go point guard. Um, he does need to re-sign him, but he did trade LaMelo for him, so he kind of needs to keep him, or else that trade looks really bad. Um, so I think he's going to bring back Giddy. So I think that helps kind of in understanding like they probably aren't going to go point guard. Anything else in between though, they could go, especially if Mark's getting traded. So we'll see. Always an
yeah.
interesting
I mean, yeah.
to see what
That's
Orlando
when
ends up
this is
doing.
number 4, right? 4 is just
That's
kind of
for
whatever
yep.
falls to you, and you just go with it. So
And I think there are looking at I mean, there are 4 pretty good players in this draft.
yeah,
Like I think
there's
there are.
yeah, you'll get somebody, but I mean,
I mean, there
you
are.
it's
Yeah.
honestly
I don't know. There
it's
are like
actually not a
7
bad
players I
spot to
really
be in
like.
because it just let the draft dictate who you're going to take at that point. You don't have to worry
Yeah.
about sweating who's number 1 or who's the best here. Just let
Yeah.
who comes
Agreed.
to you.
Agreed. And like I said, I like 7 players a lot in this draft. So
Well, you're going to get one of them.
not a bad spot. Not a bad spot to be in here at 4. All right. So top 3, here we come. So 3 is all right. The
Ooh,
Thunder land here. Okay. Like I said, I stayed put at 3. I was hoping for a
hey,
1 or 2, but I'll
top
take
3.
3. Yeah,
And you
I'll
said you
take
got
3 all
7
day.
people here
I
for
thought
you,
I was
right?
going to be.
7
Yep.
people.
Yeah. So I'll get. There's 2 I really like, I think, but I need to look at my scouts.
Ah,
But it's
well,
okay.
what's it worth to you?
I'm
Just
happy
tell
with
me what
them.
you want.
Yeah, get
I'll
out.
give you one of the 2.
Everyone already thinks there's a there's collusion here. Um,
No,
but
there's
no,
so much collusion.
yeah, I'm happy with
Just let the draft lottery tell you everything you need to know.
I'm happy with 3 here. Oh, um, let's look at this scrub team. Um, yeah, I actually do really like my team as much as they're underperformers, and I feel like I'm in a similar situation to Gary like a couple years ago, where he had a ton of like solid to above average talent, nothing like that would be a star for a team necessarily. Um, who I at some point I'm going to need to consolidate, but I do actually really like the roster, and I will have some financial flexibility for the first time my time here at the CSL to be a
It's
free
fun.
agent player.
It's a
So
fun
looking
situation to be
forward,
in.
yeah, looking forward to that. Ja, sorry, you're gonna hit the books and
Poor
get off
guy.
the team, but like I'm pretty happy with the team. I don't know what I'm gonna do, to be perfectly honest. I really like
Well, you got my
Noel
number.
this
You can
year.
call me and I can tell you what to do here.
Yeah,
Build
I
yourself a
loved
great OKC
Grady.
team.
This was
So
like, yeah, this dude I think is my favorite player. He's just a efficient scoring beast. But everyone else, it is yeah, we'll see what happens. Um, Gary saying, is it too late for them to pick up their rookie options? I don't know who that's in reference to, but I think it is too late for rookie options if they're up for next year. But I need to. I don't even remember the lottery rules. What rules do I even know anymore? Um, yeah,
Gotta be
I
on top
I
of these
have a
things.
lot of depth on this team, but no real star. So I'm
Yeah,
probably gonna see
sometimes
what
that's a
happens with
curse
1 and
too. I
2.
mean, yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, but like you said, consolidation is key here. I think, right? Maybe you can consolidate some of these names into an upgrade. But I
yeah.
mean, are you 2 years from being 3 years away too, or what's your outlook for
I don't
yourself?
think next year's my year. I think the following year is where I'm really gonna shine. We're late
All
bloomers, you
right,
know.
you
Um,
you heard it here first.
but I didn't like not being in the playoffs this year. That hurt. So
you
we'll see if
got
I
to
get
correct that
impatient,
next
which
year.
is usually my problem.
Get out of the lottery. No one's here
Yeah.
anyway.
So all right, enough about my team. All right, so 1 and 2. So we know it's either the
Yeah.
Lakers or the Pacers here. Both teams need talent, so I'm glad it's not the Kings. Um, so I think it's good for the league either way. So here we go. 2 and 1. We'll kind of do it at the same time, and then we'll get your feedback here, TJ. 2 for the
Oh,
Pacers, and the Lakers win the lottery, jumping from 6 all the way to 1, but the Pacers jump from 8 to 2. So pretty
I'll take
crazy.
it.
It went chalk for a
I'll
long
take it.
time, and then we had some big jumps. So congratulations to both of you. We looked at your
Well,
team
thank you.
already. So again, I'm not going to spend any time looking at your team. It's boring. But we will look at the Lakers, who are the big
That's a great
lottery
team to
winners
look at.
here. So yeah, I think this is glad to see it. But this is another team who, I mean, they're building a legit team. They were over the sixth or something. Um, but Jay McBeeball here, who I think is Gary's friend. So Gary, you can yell at your friend here for stealing the lottery luck from you. He's building a really solid team. So he traded for quickly last year from the Thunder, um, who I really like a lot, but didn't have the financial means to be able to re-sign him when his time was up. Definitely rigged. Um, so sad to see him go, but he is. I do like him a lot. Um, don't they also have who's the center they have? Did they trade him? Like I can't even pay attention to who's getting moved. They got Mojave King from Detroit from last year, so making a ton of trades. I'm pretty sure he has a ton of first round picks coming up. So he has
Oh
three
yeah.
firsts this year, which is great, even though these are going to be late first. His first next year, his and the Grizzlies first. So doing good there in terms of picks. In terms of financial flexibility, not bad. See what he does with some of these veterans if he tries to move off them, Carter and Wagner. Uh, but otherwise, he has really solid team. Quickly, Black are two really good players. Cole Anthony's really solid. King's really solid. Um, yeah, he just has some good players here. So we'll kind of see what happens here. But what are your thoughts? What do you think this is a team? What do they need here?
Oh yeah. No, this team is very well balanced. They have a lot of youth and they have a lot of talent. So, like you said, I think that again, the age old question is: we winning now, or do we try to get rid of Mo Wagner and Wendell Carter here?
Yeah,
If they want to go complete rebuild, just start the youth and go from there. I don't think that's a bad situation. But you look at the lineup here; it's very well balanced. Um, I think this is a franchise that's in really good shape too. So another situation of the rich get richer, and he'll have his pick of the litter. And the first pick's always a curse and a blessing, right? So do you
that is what they say.
take the BPA, or do you take the BPA, or do you take what fits?
Yeah,
So I mean,
yeah, and you bring up a good point.
there's it's up to him.
They they can compete next year if they want. They have the veteran
Yeah.
mix with
Yep.
very good youth to compete next year. they
I mean,
also can say, hey,
if
let's
they get
move
a
this.
guy
And
that can contribute right away, what do you think? Do you go for it, or
it depends on the
do you
GM.
just
Like I
try to
said, some
unload
are
and
more
go? Yeah,
impatient than others. Um,
yeah.
I mean, I think
They
based
could
on the
definitely be in a worse
top pick,
situation here.
yeah, the top player at least, I think Ron Harper Jr. is like seen as the top player in this draft, who's like a wing. Um, they're pretty
Hmm.
solid at wing, but I'm not a. I mean, Anthony Black, I think, is a good player. I don't know that he's a great starter. Um, so I don't know. We'll kind of see there, but yeah, it'll be interesting if that's someone who they feel like. And again, Scottie Pippen Jr. is another one who's kind of seen as like the top, one of the top players. So they're going to have some options for sure. It'll be interesting to see what kind of path they end up on. But
I mean,
not a bad place
not
to
a
be.
problem. It's
No,
not a
definitely not
bad
a
place to
problem.
be at all. But
Yep.
they'll have plenty of time to think about it here, and they're really active. Maybe they can move, and maybe they stay. But who knows? It's a very good situation to be in. So this team
Yep.
is well on its way. Well on its way.
Yeah. All right. What other comments you have here, man? What do you think about
Not much. Well, Green Bear is back in the finals again, right? So good luck to
who do
Doug
you
as usual. Not that he really
who do you think's
needs
going
it
to
or
win it?
anything.
What's your big
It's Doug.
prediction?
It's
Everyone
always
wants to
Doug.
know.
It's always Doug. It's my biggest. It's what everyone
Do you think it's
says.
going
My
to be a
biggest
sweep
contribution to this league was to bring Doug in.
again? Maybe that's
I don't
true.
think it'll be a sweep. Yeah, that's my biggest contribution to the league was bringing Doug in.
So what do
So
you think it's going to be? If it's
he'll end
not
up
a
winning.
sweep, what's it going to be? 4-1, 4-2. Let's go. Are
A
we going
six,
7 here?
six, four
6.
two.
So
Yep,
4-2.
4-2,
Andre, this is his
4-2.
first finals appearance for commish
Yeah,
privilege
man,
there.
congrats.
Um,
Yeah, a lot of commish privilege this year. But
every year, if a commish ever
who's
wins, it
saying
is a
that? Who's
commish
saying
privilege. Yep,
that?
it is
As it
always.
should be.
Yeah. I am getting praised on my AI
Yeah,
model of
see?
TJ. It
There you go.
is. I'm
You
glad no one could
Yeah.
tell that this actually isn't real TJ. This is an AI model that I've created, and it's exactly the same as him. So, thank you, Gary. I've been working on this for the
Yeah.
past 6
You
months. So, Doug
There you
says you just
go.
gave him a
Oh,
kiss of
yeah,
death.
just like
So,
you.
there
Says
you
the
go.
guy that said this was the March Madness of draft
I'm
lottery.
up.
He gave you the kiss death there too.
I know.
So,
I'm happy. I
what you
stayed
put
at
out in the
3.
world comes
I'm
back in
actually
the end.
perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I'm like pretty happy staying at 3 and not getting moved down, to be honest. So,
Yeah. Could be
I'm
worse.
pumped
Could
about
always
that.
be worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good luck to you, man. We'll
So
let you know
so
who you can pick
Portland in
after me.
6. You hear that, Andre? If you need any bulletin board material for your team, TJ just called Portland in
Yeah.
6.
Uh-huh.
There you go.
Yeah, because I provide a lot of good bulletin board material, right?
That's it. That's all you're here for. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, I
congrats
do my
again to the
best.
Lakers and to you, TJ,
Oh,
for
thanks,
jumping
bud.
up to 2. Commish privilege in
Commission
7.
Cruise in
There you
7.
go. Yeah,
Love
there you
it.
go. So that's a Hawks. That's a Hawks vote. Um, but yes,
Well,
TJ, thanks
thanks for
again for
having me. I'm
joining
glad I
us.
could
AI
contribute
TJ.
twice every year. I'll see
Yep.
you. What do you think? Maybe like September, October, maybe.
So 5, 6 months from now, we'll be doing the same thing.
There
Okay.
you go. Beautiful, and I'll
Yep.
be here. I can't wait to see what this AI model looks like in
Yeah.
that time of year too.
Yeah. It's going to
I'm
be
just gonna
even
take
better in
over.
6
He'll
months.
just run the whole thing.
I
Yeah,
really won't need you in the league at all. So the only reason you're in the league.
yeah.
So once I really finish
It's
a few
okay.
details,
Okay,
you
I know
can.
my role.
Yeah.
I know my role in life, so it's all
Yeah.
good.
All right. Well, thanks again. Congrats again to all the winners, especially the Lakers again, Pacers, and I'm pumped to stay at 3. So, but
Yeah,
good luck
congrats
in the
LA on the win,
finals.
and good luck in the finals. Yeah, big
Yeah.
time.
Good luck,
Get it done.
Doug. Good luck, Andre. Um, looking forward to it. And off season's a week away, a mere week away. So
Favorite
good
time of year,
luck,
baby.
everyone.
Favorite time of
Yep.
year.
Yeah. And congrats
It's
to
the
you
only
as
one I
well,
do.
Gary. All right. Thank you all.
Big
Good
congrats
luck
goes
in the
to Gary.
finals. And see you all in the off season. Bye.
Cheers.